Hello and welcome back to East Coast Wagering. It's Independence Day weekend and we have no shortage of graded stakes races to choose from this Saturday. You can see them all listed here. At Belmont, we have the Grade 2 John Nerude, which features the Return of Life is Good, the Grade 3 Dwyer. At Gulfstream, we have the Grade 3 Smile and the Grade 2 Princess Rooney. At Delaware, we have a pair of Grade 3s in the Delaware Oaks and the Kent. At Churchill, we have the Fleur de Lis and the Stephen Foster, both Grade 2s. And at Woodbine, we have 4 graded stakes races as well. The Grade 3 Saline, the Grade 2 Nassau, the Grade 3 Marine, and the Grade 2 Highlander. Today I'm going to focus on Churchill as they have an interesting undercard with some minor stakes action mixed in with the Fleur de Lis and the Stephen Foster. I'm going to break down my selections for the stakes, structure an all stakes pick 5, and additionally I'm going to give my full card selections. I'm going to start with the first leg of the all-stakes pick 6, and that's race 6, the Teppin Stakes going a mile in the dirt for 3-year-old fillies. And looking at this field, for me, there's a single in this race, and it's the number 4 horse Wicked Halo. You can see her here in her last out effort, which she ultimately won in the Leslie's Ladies Stakes. In that race, she broke a bit slowly, but angled out to get placement right off the speed set by the 1-2 favorite. As she made her move in the stretch, that horse came out and bumped her, but she continued her rally to win by over 2 lengths. It was impressive from the standpoint that she did have multiple things go wrong for her, but was still able to notch the victory. She has been facing much tougher competition than the rest of these horses and has speed figures that are higher than her challengers as well. On paper, she looks to be the logical winner, and that's why I'm going to single her. If you're not comfortable singling a horse in this particular race and you want to go too deep, I'd recommend looking at the number 2 Patina, who's won 2 straight, and with a step forward, maybe she can be competitive here, but for me, it's all Wicked Halo. The second leg in the sequence is race 7. It's the American Derby going a mile and a 16th on the dirt for 3-year-olds. And in this race, I have a feeling that your post-time favorite is probably going to be the same as the morning line favorite, the number 9 Rattle and Roll. People are going to play him off the class drop, but for me, I'm going to try to beat him because I don't love deep closers at short prices, and I also don't know who this horse has really beat in his career. He has lost to some classy horses, but I don't think he's really beat much. The first horse that I am going to put on top, though, is the number 8 horse Kuchar, who easily won last out at a short price in non-winners of one other than. But prior to that, he did finish second in the Oaklawn Stakes seen here. He tried taking them gate to wire in that race and was able to set moderate fractions. He repelled the initial challenge and fought gamely in the stretch, but could not hold off the favorite, settling for second. I like both of this horse's efforts since Florent Giraud took over riding duties, and in a wide open field, I want to have a horse like this who seems to be progressing. I also like that his last out win was here at Churchill at this very same distance. The other horse that I'm going to play on top of my vertical bets is the other Brissett trained horse in this race, the number 5 McLaren's Vale, who you can see here in his last out effort, winning an allowance race for non-winners of one other than. He went off the short price favorite in that race and stalked right behind the leader, who he battled with down the stretch before ultimately pulling away. It seemed like he wanted to lug in a bit, but once the jockey got him running straight, he pulled away easily. The connections thought highly enough of this horse to run him in the Grade 2 San Vicente at age 2, where he finished a respectable 3rd, and he was trained initially by Bob Baffert. His sire is Gunrunner, whose progeny have been fantastic this year, pretty much across the board. Though he is moving back up in class, he does pick up Sias back in the saddle, and based on his speed figures, he definitely fits here in this race. I am going to go a little deep in this race in the multi-race wagers because it is the largest field of the sequence and likely the most wide open as well. I'm going to throw in the number 3 Search Engine, the number 10 War Campaign, and the number 11 OP Firecracker as well. Race 8 is the first of the 2 graded stakes races in the sequence. It's the Grade 2 Fleur de Lis going a mile and 1/8 on the dirt for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. And in this race, we only have 5 entries, so I'm going to be limiting it to multi-race wagers. There's no real value in a vertical bet in a 5-horse field, so I'm just going to give you my selections for the multi-race. Of the 5 horses, 3 of them are coming out of the same last out effort in the Shawnee Stakes, which you can see here. It was ultimately won by the number 2 in this horse, She's All Wolf, in a surprise at big odds from off the pace. I'm skeptical she can repeat that effort based off her previous form, but there is the possibility the pace could be quick in this race, as 3 of the 5 of these horses do like to be on or near the lead. One of those horses I'm not really interested in is the number 3 Ava's Grace, who's going to have other faster horses in this field to contend with early, And in my opinion, she looked tired late, weaving in the stretch. So the added pace pressure is not going to help her at all, in my opinion. Pauline's Pearl went off the big favorite in the Shawnee, but completely failed to fire without much excuse at all. Out of those three, though, coming back out of that race, she is the one that I have the most interest in, and I'm going to be playing her in my multi-races as she gets Rosario back on board, and I'm willing to chalk up one bad race to just a bad effort, considering she was running fantastic form prior to that. The other horse that I'm interested in this race and my multi-race wagers is the new shooter to this group, the number 1 horse, Super Quick, who you can see here last out, convincingly winning the Grade 3 Allaire DuPont. In that race, she set quick early fractions, but still pulled away easily in the stretch to trounce the other 4 entrants by more than 10 lengths. A repeat of that, I believe, easily wins this race, but she does step up in class, and the number 5 horse here, She Dares the Devil, is 5 of 6 at Churchill and will contend with Super Quick for the lead. It seems to me like She Dares the Devil has regressed a bit off the peak form we saw her last year, and I'm going to take a chance on the horse that seems to be progressing even with the class jump. The 2 horses I'm playing in this race are the number 1, Super Quick, and the number 4, Pauline's Pearl. Race 9 is the second to last race in the sequence. It's the Kelly's Landing Stakes going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt for 3-year-olds and up. And this is a very interesting 9-horse field, but I think that ultimately you have to first look at the reigning Breeders' Cup champion, Aloha West. You can see him here in his last out effort where he ran a disappointing 4th of 5th in the Met Mile. He tried making a bit of an early move in that one, but proved no match for a very classy field, led by a potential superstar in Flightline. He seems to have regressed a little bit since his Breeders' Cup win, but he also has had to contend with Flightline and Jackie's Warrior in the 2 races this year, so this is much needed class relief. There does appear to be enough speed here to keep the pace honest, so Aloha West is definitely a key player in this one. I don't think he is a lock by any means to win, so if he does go off a short price, I'm probably going to try to beat him in my vertical bets, but I'm definitely going to be including him in my multi-race wagers. The number 5 horse here, Bango, ran well to grab the win in his last out effort, the Aristides Stakes, in which he beat the number 6 horse in this field, Bob's Edge, who went off the favorite in that race. In the Aristides, Bango came from off the pace and showed a nice closing kick to get up in the final strides. As I said with Aloha West, I think there should be an honest pace in this race, so with that late effort he showed in his last, he's definitely in play in this one. Bango is also the reigning champion in this particular race and does have 7 lifetime wins and 13 attempts at Churchill, as well as 2 of 4 at this distance. He should get the jump on Aloha West, and if he runs like he did last out, he could definitely win this one. The other horse in this field that I'm interested in is the number 1 horse, Awesome Jerry, who jumps back into stakes company after 2 straight wins and optional claiming non-winners races, the last of which you can see here. In that race, it was a very nice effort as he ran out to the early lead, was passed around the far turn, but battled back in the stretch to win by over 2 lengths. This horse could be overlooked based off his prior stakes efforts last year, but I think that he looks to have improved significantly in his last couple starts with matching career best speed figures. I also like that one of those wins was on the lead and the other came from off the pace, as versatility could help in this race based on how the pace shakes out. And the final leg in the Pick 5 sequence is the other graded stakes race. It's the Grade 2 Stephen Foster going 1 1/8 on the dirt for 4-year-olds and up. And in this race, my top selection is the number 3 horse Olympiad, who rides a 4-race winning streak into this one, most recently winning over the Churchill Downs track in the Grade 2 Ali Sheba. This field, in my opinion, is much more difficult than what he faced in that last effort, and as a result, you should hopefully get a little bit better value, especially with the presence of Mandaloon. In the Ali Sheba, Olympiad stalked the leader through moderate fractions, got headed entering the stretch, but after getting in tight, he fought back once clear and pulled away convincingly. Given how I see the pace setting up in this particular race, I expect a similar stalking trip right off the leader from Olympiad. Based on his recent form, I think it's going to be very difficult to beat him unless one of these other horses takes a big step forward. Of Olympiad's 6 rivals, the one that I have the most interest in is the number 2 horse American Revolution, who comes in off a 4th place effort in the Blame Stakes and is also very appropriately named for Independence Day weekend. You can see him here in that Blame Stakes, who I'm going to forgive that flat effort based on the fact that he came into that race off a 6-month layoff. He ran a similar stalking style to what Olympiad ran in his last race, but when they turned for home, he just didn't look like he had anything left for the stretch drive and could not hold off the closers. He is the last horse to beat Olympiad, as he won the Cigar Mile prior to his layoff, but that was at a mile, and I think Olympiad probably wants to go a little further than that. I think out of the two posts, he should be forwardly placed, possibly even on the lead if Caddo River doesn't want it from the one post. With the race under his belt, I think American Revolution moves forward, and I think he can contend here. I'm not sure if he can beat Olympiad or not, but I like him for at least second, and I do give him a shot at the win. Another horse I'm going to be playing underneath in my vertical bets is the number 5 Proxy, who also was in this Blame Stakes, finishing second. He came from off the pace and had the most late interest of any of the horses in the field, but ultimately he couldn't get to the winner. He is 0 for 4 at the distance, but he is always close at the end with 3 seconds and a third. I'm not thinking the pace is going to work in this horse's favor, but I do see him picking up late like he does in his typical races, and he should be there for a minor share of the prize. I realize it's going to be tough to leave the number 6 horse Mandaloon off your tickets. I'm going to try to beat him though. He came in off a flat effort in 9th place in that Dubai race, but prior to that you can see him here in the Grade 3 Louisiana Stakes, which he did beat some quality horses in that one. He stalked in 3rd and gradually made up ground to the top of the stretch, where he dueled with Midnight Berman, who floated him out wide, but ultimately Mandaloon had enough to grind it out for the win. He is one of the top horses coming out of last year's 3-year-old crop and is the Kentucky Derby winner after the disqualification to Medina Spirit. My biggest concern is, other than Louisiana, he raced his best races in 3-year-old restricted races. I also don't like horses in their first race back off Dubai efforts, as we have seen many times in the past horses run subpar in their first start back in the stakes. With this one likely going off either the favorite or the second choice, I'm going to try to use others to get some value underneath Olympiad in the vertical bets. And off the trip back from Dubai, in the 4-month layoff, I want to try some others more. So the way I'm going to structure my pick 5, in race 6, I'm going to go 1 deep and single the number 4 horse Wicked Halo. In race 7, I'm going to go 5 deep. I'm going to use the number 3 Search Engine, the number 5 McLaren Vale, the number 8 Kuchar, the number 10 War Campaign, and the number 11 OP Firecracker. In race 8, the Fleur de Lis, I'm going 2 deep, the number 1 Super Quick, and the number 4 Pauline's Pearl. In race 9, I'm going to go 3 deep, the number 1 Awesome Jerry, the number 4 Aloha West, and the number 5 Bango. And to finish it off, in race 10, the Stephen Foster, I'm going 2 deep, the number 2 American Revolution, and the number 3 Olympiad. The total value at a 50-cent bet is $30. Also, here's how I'm playing the rest of the card. Many of these races are very, very wide open. If you want to look at them and you don't have a strong opinion, there's no shame in skipping a race. You don't have to play them all. I probably won't. But there's a couple in here that I see horses that I think are going to be nice value, and I'm going to try to get some action in a few of these early races. Race 1, I like the 2, the 5, and the 11. Race 2, the 4, the 8, and the 1. Race 3, the 1, the 8, and the 6. Race 4, the 4, the 12, and the 8. Race 5, the 11, the 9, and the 7. Race 11, the 7, the 8, and 11. And race 12, I like the 10, the 11, and the 8. That's how I see this Churchill card, including my all stakes late pick 5. I'm interested to hear what you have to say in the comments section, so leave a comment and let me know what you think. If there's any horses that you think are must plays that I don't have included, or if there's any horses that I'm high on that you don't really like at all. I'm also interested to hear what you think about the other stakes action for the weekend. I'm probably not going to be playing a whole lot of the other tracks, with the exception of Woodbine, which I am going to post a video tomorrow with their late pick 5, which includes 4 graded stakes races and is very interesting and very deep. If you want to see that and you like my content, remember to hit that subscribe button so you can get notifications whenever I post new content. My name is Jeremy Pielmeyer, and this is East Coast Wagering. Thanks again for watching my video, and I'll see you again soon.